What's going on, guys? Carter here with Edged Mindset. Got another video for you. Let me fix my mat. Ooh, there we go. Got another video for you. We're taking a look at the Remette Rhino. So, disclaimer, this was sent to me for free to feature on my channel, talk about, give my opinion on it. Like always, I make sure anytime I do something like this, which actually isn't that often, I make sure that they know I'm going to do my honest opinion. That includes if I don't like it, if I think it's overpriced, or sometimes if I'm just apathetic towards it, right? Because sometimes I will get knives like these that are objectively fine for the money. Not this one. Actually, I really like this one. Heads up, TLDR, this is a good one. But sometimes I get these knives and they're fine, but there's nothing noteworthy or exciting about it, and that kind of comes through in the review. I don't go out of my way to try and sound excited about things if I'm not. And it is what it is. That's what you get with me. So this is, I believe I said, the Remette Rhino. I'm actually pretty impressed with this. I mean, obviously, for what it is, for the money, I think you get a big bang for the buck. I think you get a lot of style. The action is amazing. It's a win in my book. Let's do some specs on this bad boy. While we're running these speckaroonies, let's do a size comparison to the good old trusty Paramilitary 2. I don't even know if this is a good knife for this anymore. There was a time when the Para 2 was kind of the gold standard that just about everybody had one, right? I don't know if that's even the case anymore. Do people buy Paramilitary 2s anymore? Am I doing a comparison that people are like, I don't even know, I don't even care. 3-inch blade right there. Overall length is about 7 1/4, 7 1/2, somewhere in between there. So medium, small size knife. And I'll talk a little bit more about the size of it here in a minute, because size is a big deal for me. I don't really like small knives typically. 4 ounces. I think that's accurate. Is that accurate? I've got this pad. Let me make sure that that's not affecting the weight on here. Yeah, 4 ounces. So pretty good. And what's cool about it, let's put this back here. I know this isn't a Strider. I just really like this mat. What's cool about it is it's got a good weight distribution. It's got a good feel to it. It feels very robust. It feels, I want to say it feels heavy and substantial. 4 ounces is not particularly heavy or substantial, but just due to the size, the length, the thickness, it works well. It's got a really good hand feel. I just wanted to say that while it was on top of mind. So this has D2 steel. If heat treated correctly, and if real D2, that is an excellent choice for steel. It's not breaking any records or anything, but it's a good, nice all-around steel. It's got a black coating on it too, so you shouldn't have to deal with any sort of rust issues, because D2 is barely stainless. If you're not taking care of it, it can rust on you. So it's good it has this coating. The coating, by the way, is really, really cool. It's really cool at this price point. So it's got the PVD coating with the stonewash on top. I really like the way that looks. I think it looks cool. It's got a lot of style to it, man. A lot of style to it. You've got this nice little belly here. It's a good all-around utility cutter. Look how thin it is at that tip. It's pretty thin behind the edge here, flat ground, reasonably high bevel, primary bevel right there. But you've got a lot of cool accents. You've got this milling pocket right here. You've got a swedge up at the top. They very easily could have done a much simpler blade style. Because you got to remember, all this milling, that's time. Right? It takes time to crank out a blade like this with all this extra work going on it. It'd be much cheaper and faster to do a simpler blade grind with no accents or anything special going on. So pretty cool. Another cool thing about this is it uses thumb studs for deployment, as well as partial blade stops. I'm not quite sure, because it has a stop pin right here that's floating in the scales. But it seems like these stop pins are also potentially making contact with the liners as well. Hard to say for sure, but if that is the case, that is really cool, because then you've got a 3-point contact. So not only are you contacting a whole bunch on this knife, which is going to prevent this blade from seating further back and affecting lockup and things like that, but these stop pins seating, if they're seating on here, will also prevent side-to-side kind of lateral play, because they would be hitting up against these liners here. So good construction, as far as I can tell. Looks really, really good. And it also has a flipper tab. So multiple ways to deploy this thing, and the action is really snappy, really good. Out of all my kind of budget knives that I have checked out recently, which, to be honest, isn't a ton. I don't spend a lot of time in this arena, but the ones that I have checked out, I would have to say that action-wise, this is the cleanest and the funnest and the snappiest action out of all the ones that I've checked out. CRJB or CJRB, I've checked out the Space Cowboy, the couple of Vosteeds. So a lot of different ones that I've looked at, or a handful of ones that I've looked at. This Remette is pretty cool. This one has green G10 here, kind of light texture, not super grippy. You can see that texture right there, nothing too crazy. But once again, just like the blade, it has extra work done to it. You can see all this chamfering right here, chamfering right there, right here. So not only does it make it more comfortable to hold, the ergonomics on this thing is really, really good, but it also adds a little bit of style to it. A lot of the times in this price point, you're just going to get a flat G10 scale that might be a little bit rounded on the edges. Nothing else going on. So this knife has extra style points going towards it. And in the case of the scales, it actually affects the ergonomics, which is really, really nice. You can see here, I can get a full 4-finger grip on here, 3 fingers up here, and then this one kind of sits on this ledge right there. Very, very comfortable. You've got some jimping here that does absolutely nothing. Really, really weak jimping. Honestly, and it's also kind of a little further back. So not really useful, very slick, but I guess if you like the looks of jimping, that'll be good to go. Oh, back to the action. Of course, running on bearings. I think that's pretty self-explanatory now, I believe. But just in case you were wondering, it is running on bearings. It has a silicone carbide detent ball in it, so all that good stuff. Everything is nice and tight. No detent lash, no considerable pivot lash. There's like a little. I mean, you can feel a little click there, but there's no movement here in the closed position, so that's all good. Steel liners. Let's see if we can see. It's really, really dark in there. There we go. You can see that engagement right there. Perfect. It's going to potentially move in just a tad, and that'll give it like 100% connection with the liner at least. I did do some light spine whacking on some wood. Functioned flawlessly. Nothing too crazy. Just something to make sure that it is locking up securely, and it isn't going to pop out of place in case you accidentally put a little too much force coming down. Maybe you're trying to puncture into something and a little bit of force is pushing down here. You do want to make sure that this lock isn't going to pop on you. But you also have this flipper right here. And a lot of people don't really talk about flippers protecting your hands, but they act somewhat as a guard. You can see if I unlock the knife here, just locked again. If I unlock the knife there, that flipper hits my finger. Now, if enough force is given, obviously it's going to slip past it anyways, but it does give you a little bit of extra protection in case this lock fails. Maybe you get some gunk in here, maybe it's slick, something like that. Lock fails, you've got this little stop here to kind of help slow that down and hopefully save your fingers. Deep carry pocket clip, if you like those. I think they're ugly as hell, and I don't really care about hiding my knife in my pocket, but some people do. So if you like that, bent steel, deep carry pocket clip. We've got a backspacer here. It does have a lanyard pin, which is pretty cool that they added that feature. Not a lot of people rocking lanyards nowadays, but if you want to, you have the option here, and you don't have to deal with shoving it through a little hole. That sounded really gross. Yeah, you've got lightning holes in the liners right there. It's just a good overall knife. Now, price point. Amazon, $26, man. $26. So not only is this one of the better budget knives that I have reviewed or handled or used or whatever, it's also one of the lower priced ones that I've handled and reviewed. If you remember, my main complaint about the Space Cowboy that I reviewed a few weeks back wasn't so much that it was bad. It's just the price point for what you're getting. It just didn't seem to jive that well. This is not the case here. This thing is a banger for the money. So even if this isn't something you want for yourself, it might be a good idea for stocking stuffers, maybe a gift for somebody. It's just a good all-around knife, and I think it looks cool too. I like the green and the black. There's a few different colors available. This one I think is the most handsome of the bunch. So yeah, Remette Rhino. It's a win. I would give it, well, I don't know. I don't know if I want to give it a score, but I would say for the money, it's a banger of a knife. So check it out if you want. If not, that's cool. Thanks for hanging out. Leave comments, like, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. All that stuff really helps me out, keeps me going. Appreciate all the support. Catch you guys later.